In the year 171 of the Fourth Era, the mighty Aldmeri Dominion invaded the weakened Empire in what would become known as the Great War. The army of the Thalmor seemed unstoppable, marching out of elsewhere to take city after city, as well as sweeping across the western regions of Cyrodiil to invade Hammerfell. The Thalmor military would eventually sack the Imperial city and fight the Empire to a stalemate, forcing what was once the greatest military in the history of Tamriel to make peace on its own terms. The Thalmor's deadliest force were the ones that nobody knew were coming. They have no official name, but they are the Thalmor Gestapo, the secret police of the Third Aldmeri Dominion. One High Elf refugee, Nathaniel, recorded the importance of these Thalmor assassin units. They had better spies and greater mobility, and knew best how to use them. This is the menace that the Thalmor represent. They are cruel and merciless, but they are no fools. They are devious and subtle, and oh so very patient. The secret forces here are stated to not just be part of the Dominion military, but a branch of the very Thalmor themselves, making them as much a political branch as a military one, and as such many of their agents maintain both political and military positions. The secret police of the Thalmor would be used to take out dissidents as well as those that flee to other states for refuge. After a prominent Altmer figure, Reinandor, questioned their authority, he was exiled, and one of his followers notes that the first of many attempts on my life occurred soon after. I went into hiding, waiting anxiously for word of the Thalmor's activities back on Somerset Isle. With this, the Thalmor consolidated their grip on power. However, it would not just be used to quell opposition, but to weaken the Empire itself. In the year 10 of the Fourth Era, the Thalmor Gestapo went after Potentate Okato, a high elf and leader of the Empire's government at the time who recognized the threat of the Thalmor and worked to take precaution against them. Without him, the Stormcrow interregnum erupted and the Empire became disunified while the Thalmor were single-minded. While many of the Thalmor Gestapo's purges or exterminations are kept secret, one was recorded, referred only to as the Night of Green Fire. I was trying to track down some refugee relatives who had fled persecution in Eleanor. Suddenly, an explosion of magic in the refugee quarter. Thalmor mages were attacking the Altmer refugees. The entire quarter was a smoking ruin by the time we arrived. Everyone was dead. Wholesale slaughter. While the specifics are unknown, the secret police of the Thalmor would be involved in the purges of Valenwood, of undesirables, imperial supporters, and ethnically impure Myr. One Khajiit named Rassad talks about the culture of paranoia that the Dominion has created. And because you are watched, you look over your shoulder a little too often. Because who can say who has been bought and who has not? Who might be sending reports about you, and what might they be saying? Where did that neighbour of yours go last Midas? Or was she taken away, perhaps to Eleanor itself, and the dungeons beneath the Crystal Tower? Their informants and assassins are out there in unknown numbers, collecting and suppressing any disobedience that they detect. Whole families would be purged by the secret police if but one member was found to voice opposition to the Thalmor. Now, this particular quote describes a former Aldmeri Dominion led by Queen Irene, but this was known to be actually one of the more benevolent ones. However, the same culture of paranoia has been manufactured in the Third Aldmeri Dominion, possibly even worse. Even so, it is during the Great War between the Aldmeri Dominion and the weakened Empire that the Thalmor Gestapo launched its most successful and underhanded attack on the Empire. While it fought on the two fronts of the south, led by Lord Narafin, and in the west, led by Lady Aranelia, the Thalmor Gestapo was interested in more subtle strategies. Firstly, it would capture enemy soldiers and attempt to both torture and brainwash them into submission, transforming them into assets and spies for their own cause. Lady Elwyn, who is known as the first emissary of the Dominion in Skyrim, was an interrogator employed by this secret force for this very purpose. She would preside over the indoctrination of a leading Nordic figure, Ulfric Stormcloak. Under interrogation, we learned of Ulfric's potential value. He was assigned as an asset to the interrogator, who is now first emissary Elenwyn. He was made to believe information obtained during his interrogation was crucial in the capture of the Imperial city, and then allowed to escape. After the war, contact was established and he has proven his worth as an asset. The so-called Markarth incident was particularly valuable from the point of view of our strategic goals in Skyrim, although it resulted in Ulfric becoming generally uncooperative to direct contact. The asset should be considered dormant. It is unknown how many sleeper agents or assets the secret force captured, brainwash, and presently control across all of Tamriel, or what levels of the Empire government they operate at. But it is to be understood that they are a vital part of the Thalmor's informational control network, and their involvement became crucial in Dominion efforts in the year 174 of the Fourth Era, after Lord Narafin's army swept up and took the Imperial city. Titus May II mustered a new and greater force to take it back. However, the night before the assault, the Thalmor secret police managed a crippling blow to the Empire in a successful attack on the Emperor Titus Mede himself. While he did not die, he was incredibly wounded, and an impersonator took his place to keep up the Empire's morale. It is possible they could have crushed the Empire that night with a single arrow. Interestingly, the Dominion army appears to be dominated by Altmer rather than Khajiit or Bosmer. Its generals are almost entirely High Elves, and an anti-Altmer sentiment seen throughout Skyrim suggests that most soldiers face down against battalions of High Elf mages and infantry, rather than Khajiit or Bosmer. However, this racial dominance or element that we see in the military doesn't seem to be the case for the Thalmor secret police. It appears to be more meritocratic. The assassins sent after the Emperor were entirely Wood Elves, noted for the fact that a Bosmer will strike at you from every side except the front. You won't cross swords with a Bosmer, but you might catch an arrow in the throat. Be wary in forests and jungles, and watch your back. Meanwhile, Khajiit are used as assassins sent to hunt down refugees and dissidents like Melbourne. They possess razor-sharp claws that can puncture light and leather armors, and it's said that their tails can be used as crude third hands, wielding daggers and throwing knives with deadly accuracy. One such example is Judithar in Skyrim. After the Great War, the Thalmor secret forces took on a newer public image in the form of the Thalmor Justiciars found patrolling Skyrim. They report to Lady Elenwen, a diplomat who oversees their activity, and as discussed before, was involved in brainwashing, torturing, and interrogating many people to become assets or sleeper agents. The fact that they send out a kill order on the Dragonborn tells us that they are not merely upholding the terms of the White Gold Concordat, and numerous Thalmor figures imply that their aims are to undermine the Empire itself and prove Elven supremacy first and foremost. Their darker activities are largely kept in the dark, but few people are able to stop them. The practices of brainwashing are implied to have continued well past the war, and we can only truly guess at the full extent of their activities. This body of the Thalmor Gestapo seemed to come from the inner circle of the Thalmor themselves, receiving direct orders from the higher-up kinlords and kinladies, and carrying out orders and missions that are more related to the, well, less public aims of the Dominion themselves. But that is all from me on the Thalmor Gestapo. My question for you today is to finish this sentence. The only good Thalmor is what? Let me know down in the comments below. In the meantime, come follow me over on all my social media and stuff like that, particularly Twitter. That's where I talk the most. If you want to support the channel, there's Patreon, links down below. Thank you so much for listening. You're a great community. I'm so sorry that I have not made an Elder Scrolls videos in so long. It's just, things have been pretty hectic. I'm trying to get back into a schedule. Next week, artificial intelligence video. I am so excited to make that. I have wanted to for a long time. Let's get to work on that. I better get editing. Stay nerdy, and I will see you in the future.